Working or not working. Working or absolutely not working for the lols.
It's
And
always going to be hard when you're trying something new. Let's just
yeah,
hope it works.
yeah,
It's
I'm
always
going.
going to be.
I'm going to. Oh, it is working. It's currently
Hey!
well, at least on YouTube, it's working. So I guess let's check and see what the connection's like on Twitch. Okay, it's stable. It's stable. So yeah, we're gonna go with that. We're gonna just I'm gonna turn both off, and I'm just gonna hope that everything works the way it's supposed to. And yeah, yeah. So I needed a shoulder to cry on this week, just to start off with our topics for the week. I needed to cry after last week because I got the report over the weekend that basically the head of Netflix is deciding whether to go week to week.
Oh no, really?
Yeah, because they see all. I mean, now let me say, as a person who's
Oh.
about to curse this dude for everything he has, um,
So that's what
let
made
me.
Netflix is that they give you it all in one go.
I get it, and this is the thing. I'm the same way. Anything you could say, I'm the dude saying it exactly that way. But what's happened is because there's so many streaming services now, and there's so many like basically they're seeing the success that all of these lesser streaming services are having with their week to weeks, because you look at things like, hey, what's going on, Char? You look at things like, when they put out, say, and I'm explaining it to you the way that it was explained in the article.
Mhm.
Uh-oh, California rules, I made it.
Hey, from YouTube as well. Nice. It
Yes.
shows you that. That's cool that it shows you that it's from YouTube as well.
Yeah, so this is our. Well, let me do this on this screen at least,
We're
because
growing, guys. We're
because
entering new mediums.
you know what? We're gonna take your chats. We're gonna put them right there. Bangarang. Thank you, California Rules, for joining us on YouTube. This is the first time we're gonna try to co-stream to both on YouTube uh, and on Twitch. And Restream wants me to give them money so I could stream to Twitter as well.
Really?
But I'm not ready to give them that money because
No.
they asking a bit too much. But they let me get two. They let me get two connections for free, so we're gonna go with that for now. I'm glad you could make it. A
Twitter sounds
two-sided
a
stream.
great idea, considering Dreams is pretty like the Dreams community is pretty active on Twitter. That might be something we need to look into.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, man, the prices.
I mean,
They
there's good
like.
now. There's always a way. There's always a way of doing it. Well, I'll find a way. We might have
Oh,
to connect like four different connection services together to multi-stream at the same time, but there'll be a way of doing it.
also, Sinak, thank you. I'm glad that somebody watched the video first of all, but also glad that someone's there for my pain, because it's like I said in the video, it's funny trauma, but it is trauma
But
nonetheless.
I
I
mean,
still
didn't
hurt.
didn't they say like not long ago that they don't have no plans to move away from their current way of doing things because that's what defines Netflix different from everyone else is that they
See,
give the content all at once.
but it don't matter. Everybody's dissing Netflix because they aren't Marvel or Star Wars or
But they don't
HBO
need to
with
be.
Game of Thrones. Like, but that's the thing. Like, when they put out something like Stranger Things,
Mm,
and they put out
mm.
Stranger Things, they might get because it's binge. Now, I'm not defending this way of thought. This is just what was said.
Okay.
When they put out something like Stranger Things, they might get a week of straight up hype. Everybody's coming in. People are subscribing to basically see the show. It's blowing up. Okay, cool. But they get 1 week.
Mm.
Whereas something like Game of Thrones or what else does anyone else? Oh, Game of Thrones, or like any of the Marvel shows or the Star Wars stuff on Disney Plus, they get to milk people week to week and constantly create these conversations
Oh
around.
yeah, I mean, yeah, from a business
Yeah,
perspective and a marketing perspective and a PR perspective, yeah, it makes absolute total sense to go week to week. You get a hell of a lot more recognition online by doing it that way. But
but
but in my opinion, at least for me, now, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. I tend to lose interest in shows that release an episode week to week because it's not enough for me. So as a viewer, if something's week to week, I will wait until it's out entirely so that I can binge watch it. Like
I'm
I refuse to do week to week because it's just not enough for me, especially when they leave episodes on cliffhangers and things, and then you've got to wait a week to watch it, and you've already started watching something else because you can't wait a week and not watch anything else. I tend to, as a series goes on, I tend to actually lose interest as opposed to hyping it up because we're in a world where we just need to consume content all the time. That's why TikTok's so big because the videos are so short and you can go through so many so quickly.
they're short
So
unless they're mine.
but you get my point. Like I still,
But
even
yeah.
with stuff, I will wait until I'll wait months until it's finished, and then I can go. Oh, great! I can watch it all in like 2 nights. Great! Now I'll
See,
watch it.
I'm not gonna go too in depth into this because I'll start making people mad because I just, yeah, I feel so strongly about it. But I agree with you. Like for me, waiting week to week is the worst possible. Like people don't understand when they crap on Netflix. What they're basically voting for is to have less consumer choice.
Yeah, to ruin it. It's like going to the movies and watching 20 minutes of a film and saying, "Come back next week to watch the next 20 minutes."
Now, see,
You're not going to do that.
but that's the thing. Like, okay, so MC Alchemist, what's up, my guy? Before we get into it, I just want to say thank you for showing up, as well as everyone else, including those on YouTube. See, week to week, he says, nah, week to week is way better for digesting a narrative, gives you time to reflect on it. See,
Mm.
that's the thing. I don't need that time.
No, I just need to
Like,
move on to the
I
next
need to,
episode
I can reflect on the narrative once I've
while I'm
finished,
watching it. Yeah.
when I've finished the story. You by making like people don't remember this, but Netflix became the juggernaut it is, even with all the bad press of their losing subscribe, whatever. Get out of here. Like Netflix became the powerhouse it is because it created the binge watch. People were
Mm.
so tired of having to be in front of the TV at a specific time on a specific day to watch something. Or, if you remember my theory on Lost, the only reason people hate Lost so much is because they had to wait for it. I watched Lost basically the entire show, all the way up to the final season, after it had come out. It had been out for years. Like
Mm.
I didn't join Lost until the final season. All the stuff I heard people complain about over the years of about Lost, and it's just people.
Yeah,
There's
you see,
there
no, I
that
completely get it.
but hold up, that digesting a narrative thing also has a flip of the coin. And that flip of the coin is you let people settle and try to roadmap and guess where you're going and do all of this stuff. And people start to create their own narrative.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
then when their narrative isn't the one that's chosen, a show gets crapped on.
Yep, absolutely. Me and my wife did the same thing with Game of Thrones. We waited until the whole stuff was out. And like, people got really mad with the ending of Game of Thrones because, and albeit it wasn't great, but still the point is there was this huge build up to the ending of Game of Thrones. Absolutely massive hype train, billboards all over the world, and everyone was so hyped because they've invested years into watching this show to finally get to the end, and the ending was crap. But the reason why it got crapped on so much is because of that hype train that built up over the years. Like when my wife and I watched it, yeah, we didn't like the ending, but we was no way as angry as everyone else was is because we only invested like 2 weeks into it because we just
See,
binge watched the whole thing.
and my thing is I didn't even mind the ending. I just understand what people mean when they say, yeah, they rushed the last two
Mm.
seasons. They rushed it. So
Yeah, we
could it
did.
have been better? Yeah. But what it was actually was not that bad. And by that bad, I mean it wasn't bad at all. It just wasn't the best it could possibly be, which, like I said, is a valid argument for people who don't like it. But yeah, that weight just,
It adds to your anger. It makes it more crap than what it actually is because of the time you've invested into it.
yeah, people. Well, but let's go ahead and stop there because
Yeah.
this is gonna,
This
as
is
from
this is like
as
a taste, guys, of what Audible Brunch is going to be like. We're
yeah
just going to
the
talk about crap like this for like an hour. It's going to be
yeah
great.
the Audible Brunch podcast is coming soon, and it will be basically like this. So hope you guys stay tuned. As you can tell by the thumbnail I have up here on the screen or the wallpaper, today might get a little weird.
Mm.
Might get it. It
Really?
might sound one way, but we're gonna start it off with some good vibes. Okay, so let's get on with the show. And welcome, everybody, to the Made in Dreams podcast, episode 93. I'm your host, Mighty Vicious. As always, I'm here with Jammy James, the immortal, just over there, just doing great things. Look at him. He looks bright today, doesn't he? You look bright. You look
I've
bright
shaved,
today.
so maybe there's more light on my face because there's no beard.
That could be it. That could be it. You know, your boy Papa Fat Sacks out here. I got the shirt wide open with the chest out, ready for the lady. No, I'm just playing with him. Today, as long as we have it going, yeah, that we're gonna be going both on YouTube and on Twitch. This will help hopefully with the whole upload issue I've been having with YouTube and the fact that they take like 12 hours
I
to
know, right?
actually.
So bad.
Yeah. How's your internet? Sinach just reminded me. Is your
Yeah,
internet finally caught up to speed? It warmed up?
it's warmed up to a maximum of 35 megabytes, which is actually 5 megabytes more than I was previously getting before the issue. So it's not the best internet in the world, but it's stable, so we shouldn't have any issues today.
I mean, that's enough. You ain't
It's enough.
pushing
It
that.
gets me by. It gets
You
me
ain't
by.
pushing that casual 790 I got over here,
Oh,
but
Jesus, no.
but you know, it is what
No,
it is.
when we download a game in the UK, for the majority of people that have the same internet as me, it's like a 2-day thing. You have to leave it on overnight to download. It's just normal now.
Did they ever explain why your internet had to warm up?
Yeah, because they changed my line completely. So I was on a titanium line or something, and they've moved me to like a copper line. I don't know what they've done. Like they've changed what type of. I was on an old line basically, and they've moved me to a new infrastructure. So it takes time for it to. I don't know. I'm not a broadband engineer, so I couldn't tell you.
These dudes over here doing alchemy on your internet lines. Like, what is happening over here?
I
That's
don't know.
funny. That's
I'm
funny.
just
I'm gonna
here. I'm
close
just gonna
that
wait.
down a little bit. There we go.
I'm just gonna wait until I get fiber. I'll probably be dead in my grave by the time it reaches me, but
Okay.
it'll be nice.
Well, again, thank you everybody for joining. And like I said, we're gonna start off today with some good conversations. There was some good things that Media Molecule posted recently, and one of them was a look back at.
Mm.
You know what? I think I might need to make that. No, I'm not going to make the chat more
It's
invisible.
looking very busy on the screen.
Yeah, isn't it? And I
It's
mean, I
very
thought,
busy.
you know what? Let me see if I can do something real quick. I'm going to stretch this I'm going to put that up here. I'm going to shrink that down so that we get
Oh boy.
so that we get
Super, super live editing going on right now.
live edits to death. All right, and then let's see. Maybe I don't like that either.
Bro,
Yo,
what's with our logo like splashed across the whole screen?
well, see what had happened is that
And the whole
see
screen is our logo.
what had happened was basically I meant to put one layer above another,
Oh,
and
right, okay, yeah.
yeah, and so yeah, and then I wanted it so I could turn off the view of the screen and then, still have the logo behind everything. But I'm starting to believe that this chat box, which is great, is just not going to work.
Yeah, it's still looking extremely busy.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, it
God.
is. It's too busy for my taste, but I mean, you're the editor. It's your settings, bro. You do what you gotta
Yeah,
do.
but see, the thing was, what had happened is it looked fine on the first screen. I was happy with it on the first screen, but with it, you know what? We're turning it. I don't want to turn it off. I don't want to.
Make up your mind.
You know what? You know what? I hope y'all can still see it right there above his head. If not, we'll revisit it at a later point in the podcast.
Okay,
But
that's not so bad now. That doesn't look so bad.
it's not so bad. I see.
It's
The
not
thing
so bad.
is my screen isn't full screen, so I can't see how big the chat actually shows up to be readable. I have another screen with full chat on. Anyway, the point is, Media Molecule. This is the wrong page. There, we're starting out with good things. They basically set up this whole thread where they were showing like the earlier builds of Dreams. And I found this to be very awesome, personally.
Yeah, it's
So,
great to see like the background work of Dreams in its primitive state. I love it.
yeah. So 2 years ago, Dreams released officially on PlayStation. Before that, we worked hard for years on shaping the Dreamiverse you know today. Here's a thread of what early designs looked like. First up is what early move controller sculpting looked like. And other than this scroll fighting me, I mean, now there's one part of this that really, really like intrigued me. And
Okay.
that was the fact that it looked like that the color wheel was
On that, yes.
was on yeah, that.
Mm.
That
Yeah,
is
that's
wild. I like
it's
that.
crazy, isn't it?
Like, Char says it looks like a completely different engine. It honestly looks.
Probably is.
I mean, well, yeah, at this point it probably was, but at the same time, it kind of reminds me of what Womp 3D and Substance Modeler look like now.
It looks like all the texturing looks like very plastic. It doesn't look
Yeah,
like, the standard Fleck type that we have now. I think this is probably before Fleck became into full motion.
yeah. So, also, just looking at this, it's just, yeah, it reminds me of how would I put this? It looks very PC.
I know what you mean by that. I see where
Do,
you're
do
going
you
with that. Yeah,
do
I
you see
do.
that?
It's hard to explain, but I totally get what you're saying.
Oh, Ninja Mike, or Ninja McWiz. It says Silicon Graphics Rendering Station, Yoshi's Story Energy. Yeah. So yeah, it's yeah, that's interesting, but that's not all. We also had early gameplay idea, and it said fun fact: before puppets had legs, they had bases, so they were like tabletop
I
pieces.
actually like the look of this, like for a game or something. This actually looks really cool.
Yeah, like I think they should bring these back, or at least
And
these versions of the characters.
I love when it stops, it has the wobble as well.
Yeah, if someone made like a tabletop D&D type
Oh, that'd be
thing
so good.
in Dreams with this, and they're working on multiplayer, so yeah, that would be pretty dope. I could probably finally get my wife fully in. So The grid floor definitely makes it look very PC. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Look at the smoke effects. Oh, on the past one. Yeah. So I really like this, and I hope they re-release the puppets with this with the little
Yeah,
stands on them because
yeah, that would be really cool.
that would be cool. And then we could make our dude if we made a Dreams D&D where everybody
Oh,
could put their characters on top
yes.
of the stands, just replace it.
All of the Dreams IPs in it. That'd be so good.
Yeah, like I'd love that. I'd love that. So anyway, then after that we had what early platforming mode looked like. Let me see here. Let me make that bigger.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I don't know where to begin with this. It kind of looks posterized.
Well, I'm sure it
Doesn't it?
is. Yeah, I'm sure it is. But they definitely getting the like thick black lines on stuff. Like
Yeah,
that stuff people are still trying to do reliably now. So
yeah. But again, you've
yeah,
got that like, shiny plastic look to it as well. And like the texturing is so strange in the early versions of Dreams.
it just looks it just looks how to put this? I'm trying to it looks like a specific like art style. I can't remember the artist, but it definitely looks like it has almost that I don't know. It definitely feels Photoshop.
Yes. Yeah, it looks like they've just added a bunch of effects on top of a still.
Yeah. So let me see here. Char, it is really amazing how much more simplistic and easy to use have managed to turn dreams into after so many years. Yeah, it's yeah, yeah. The shading, what? New Smash level leak. TV sharpening on 100. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It definitely looks like that. I see a knockoff Sackboy. Isn't that an early version of the whatchamacallit? It reminds me of AI art. Well, yeah, like
Yeah, it does.
that heavy filtered look.
That
But
sky
yeah.
though, that sky looks interesting.
Oh yeah. I
Like
mean,
the
all of it
clouds and
looks
stuff.
interesting. It still flows, but yeah. So
It's just so strange to see what Dreams could have looked like in its like base texturing because like we have that base texturing with Dreams with the flex and stuff that's very noticeable. It's
yeah.
interesting to see that this like plasticky textured shiny texture could have been that base look as well. It's weird.
Yeah. So from here, I believe there was only one more. Yeah.
Yeah, the UI.
Lastly, here's an example of what one variation of an old palette UI, along with what some old animation timeline UI looked like. Okay, so let's look here. So I'm glad they changed it.
Yep, me too.
I'm glad somebody wasn't trying
Yeah.
to die on this hill
Yep.
because it looks way better now.
It is super messy. Like, I love that we have the uniformity with the top bar in Dreams. Like, that's where everything comes from, no matter what, whether it's
Yeah.
gadgets, paint, tools, whatever. It's in that top bar. It's clean, and you just get used to where everything is. I mean, if we had this, like, you'd get used to it, but comparing the two, the finished product is far more superior.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, and then there was one more. Ew.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not nice.
I bet they look back on this stuff, and while there's like memories to it, I bet they have the exact same reaction that, ew.
You're like, my God, can you believe where we started with that?
Oh, what is happening? Ugh.
Yeah.
It reminds me of God, what was that old video editing program? AV? Avi?
I think
God.
I know what you. Was the logo like
God.
green, red, and blue and stuff?
All I remember is I looked at the actual like timeline and like workflow area, and I was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like, "Yo, this I can't use this."
You
It's
see,
just I know they were used to it in the industry, but it
yeah,
honestly looked like you couldn't do anything of worth in it. But Many things
You
of Earth,
see,
we're done with it.
the menu, you know that square menu, but underneath the timeline that we're looking at now, like you can see that that's kind of been took from Little Big Planet. You know, when you open up the
Yeah,
pop menu, like you can
yeah.
see it's got their transition from Little Big Planet to Dreams. Like their early versions are really feeding from what they've previously done, and you can see throughout the years they found their fitting with Dreams, and they've changed the UI to be more adaptable to a game engine as opposed to what was technically a level maker in LBP.
Ninja says I haven't seen any of this. Kind of cool. It is cool to see behind the scenes on things
Yeah.
is awesome. I mean, I one of the things that stands out to me the most in Dreams is seeing that E3 video all the way back in the day where it was like a video inside the old offices where people were like sculpting on the
Yeah,
invisible
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Like I've never forgotten that. Like that's still one of the coolest things I've ever seen. The
The what the
hmm?
first thing I saw that introduced me to Dreams was, when they did the performance on
Yeah,
stage,
yeah, the
like that
musical
was
performance.
yeah, that was just like the most weird, random thing, like to show what a game could do. I was like, what the hell is this? Like this is like nothing else. Like and that's what actually got me intrigued into Dreams was that musical performance. It was such a weird way of going about it. It was cool though.
Willow the Bob says, I want boring gray stylus option. I'm not going to lie. I also have been looking at that stylus being like, I might not have as big of a problem with the moves as I always talk about if I could have the stylus and just hold the move like a
Oh,
pencil.
what with
Like,
the moves tracking as it is? Ew.
oh, it'd be
No.
terrible. But
God
we're
no.
gonna we're gonna get to that. Let's keep the good times rolling for
Okay, all
right
right.
now. For right now, Char says it looks like a children's PC toolkit. Ninja looks like some kind of psychic reading thing. What do the stones say? Like,
I love
yeah,
everybody's interpretation of this image.
yeah. This is a wild image.
It is. It's crazy. God,
So
wouldn't you just love like a whole Made in Dreams documentary? How cool would that be?
I would love it. I would,
I might,
and
I might work on that. I might see if I can
they
push some
could.
buttons.
I mean, they could always, hire me to shoot it, like hire me to direct it. I'll do it. I'll do it.
Yep.
I'll do it. I'll do it. So I am Frags. What is that pin like tool? I'm guessing imps weren't a thing for a hot minute in development. They probably weren't. I mean, that's all I can think of. Is
Yeah.
the like I said, the big gray stylus? Oh, I'm sure that
It makes sense before Dreams had its like theme that, a stylus would be the natural option to choose for.
I think they should bring it back. I think the imp should be a shapeshifter.
Oh,
And it
that'd
should
be cool.
shift into what tool you're using would be the
Oh,
shape that the
wow.
imp would take.
Like if you're painting, it just morphs into a paintbrush.
Exactly.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah,
I
I
like
know.
the idea of
It's
that.
another great idea for me. But anyway, the point is
Hire this guy. Come on, hire him. Hire us. We
no,
have so
don't
many ideas.
no, don't hire me.
Like
I'd hate to
we
be
can't do
hired.
anything.
I'd
We
hate to
just
be
sit there and just give you up bad ideas sometimes, and,
yeah,
maybe one of them gets through or something. That's all we'll do.
I just think like I would really hate if I got into Media Molecule somehow and nobody liked me. I'm not a man that really like cares what people think about him. But at the same time, like I love Media Molecule so much. If I got in there and can you imagine if Tom had to walk up to you and be like, "It's not working out."
Oh my god! Like you
I'd
just
be
die inside.
crushed. I'd be crushed. I'd be like, I
Uh, creative career over. That's it. I'm done.
yeah, yeah. I've obviously failed this city, so it's time for me. It's time for me to just move on. Just wait for Green Arrow to come for me, because yeah. I mean, real talk. So I really like this little walk back through the times, looking at where Dreams was when they were building it. I wish we did get more stuff like this.
Yeah, me too. It's good. I love it.
Yeah, because it would be fantastic. The other thing Media Molecule did, which was cool as hell, was the 20th anniversary. Little shout out they did to Sly Cooper for Sucker Punch.
Yeah.
If y'all didn't see this, this is dope. Let me, I think I have the sound set where it needs to be. So yeah, guys, that is awesome.
I mean, they got like Sly's movement like pinned down. It was perfect.
And I mean, this brings back that idea that I was talking about for MM. They need to get a hold of somebody's IP
Mhm.
and make the version of the game in Dreams. Sly Cooper's great. I still want Earthworm Jim made by Media Molecule, but I'll take Sly Cooper, and it was a great shout out to Sucker Punch. They did a great job with this video. It's amazing. I've watched it, I think, about 30 times now, just looking at all the details in the background.
Mm.
It's awesomeness. Awesomeness. Char says, I really wish we could sculpt our own Imps cursor, but I know if that ever happens, someone will sculpt a peen or something.
Bean.
A peen.
Bean.
Yes, it's true. It's true. Someone would immediately,
Yeah,
and then
that's the first
stream
thing.
and then stream with it.
Yep, absolutely.
That's impossible. MM are too genius. That's what I'm saying, man. I hope that somehow at least some of the ideas that come up on this show, not just from me, from our guest, from Jammy, I hope all of it kind of makes it back to MM somehow, because I do think I think we have some great ideas from the audience and ourselves on this show, and I think it would be fantastic. So anyway, Croc would also be an interesting IP to pick up. Crockwood.
It actually fits MM's style perfectly. That's a brilliant choice. I really like the idea of that. That's good.
I have no idea what he's talking about. What is Crockwood?
Croc, 3D platformer on PS4.
I was reading it as Crockwood, not.
Oh no!
Croc would also be interesting. I was like, what is Crockwood?
No,
I'm completely out of touch.
I might be wrong, but
no,
I think
you're not. You're not. You're
on
not. I'm an idiot. It's fine. So, yeah, Croc.
Yeah, Croc.
So,
yeah, okay.
So,
Crockwood.
and this is where we get to. This is where we get to a discussion.
Here we go.
Now, for anybody that's in our Discord, just like last week leading, and this is part 3 of the road to 100, we're going to have the lines open. So we're in the Lotion lobby right now in our Discord. When we kick off this main topic, if you want to jump in and say your piece, do it. Also, why can I hear myself all of a sudden? Did somebody jump in and not have any mics on? Or not have their headphones on?
Not that I'm aware of, but it's Friday,
so
man. Friday.
It is Friday. It is Friday. The whole vibe just turned down with MV's side. I'm sorry. But it's like, you'll see. So basically, one of our audience reached out to me halfway through the week while I was busy working on client work. And he showed me a message. And this is that message. Drico on Twitter says, so it appears that Dreams won't work with the PSVR2. Is this right? Media Molecule came back and said, hello, PSVR2 and Dreams compatibility is something our team is looking into, but isn't currently on our roadmap.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Jamie, I'm going to let you run with this for now, because I don't want to come in hot and wrong. This is so.
Well, no, I mean,
so go ahead.
I posted about this too on Twitter, and I actually found this quite positive news, and a lot of people disagree with me, and everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But I would say that the fact that they've acknowledged that they're looking into PSVR2 means that a PS5 version of Dreams is, in some fashion or form, gonna happen. Otherwise, they wouldn't even acknowledge that they're looking into PSVR2, because PSVR2 will require a PS5 version of Dreams. So yeah, it's a bit annoying that PSVR2 isn't even on the roadmap, but at the end of the day, something can be added to the roadmap whenever they want. You know, that roadmap is public with Trello and everything, and it's not confirmed whether they're on about their Trello roadmap or their internal roadmap. Who knows? Like, you know, everything's cryptic these days. But I see it as a positive that, okay, PSVR2 isn't currently on the roadmap, but if they're looking into PSVR2, then that obviously means that a PS5 version of Dreams is coming. Otherwise, they wouldn't even be looking into PSVR2 in the first place. So I was trying to take a positive swing on it with the whole PS5 side of things, not necessarily the VR side. But again, you know, they could have had a VR headset for months now, PSVR2 headset. They could be testing it. It's currently not on their roadmap, but that doesn't mean that they can't have a small team of people looking into it and working on it in the background to see if it fits with Dreams, and if, you know, looking at the data with VR1 and how people accepted that. And, you know, there's a lot more to it than what's just written in black and white. And I think that PSVR2 is definitely something that's going to come to Dreams, but maybe not as quickly as I originally anticipated. But PS5 version of Dreams seems more likely now with this information.
Now, I have the window open, and I don't know if y'all can hear this, but this dude has the biggest lawnmower I've ever seen across the street. And if it's too disturbing, if like when I'm talking, please let me know in chat, and I will try to do. Oh, now it's a UPS truck too.
Wow,
Hey,
you've got them all coming out.
yeah. Okay. Anyway, you hear it? Okay. Well, I'm gonna take care of that in a minute. You know what, Jamie, take over for me for a second.
All right,
I'm
let's
gonna go fix this.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, a PS5 version of Dreams seems more likely now with this information, in my opinion at least. But it'd be interesting to see what everybody else thinks. What have we got here? Ninja says that gives me some optimism. Yeah, you see, that's what I think. You know, if in order for them to look into PSVR2, they have to have somewhat already confirmed internally that a PS5 version is coming. Otherwise, they literally can't look into VR2 at all. So, yeah. And Tom says, risking coming in hot and wrong. This is the scariest statement I've seen regarding Dream's future. I can see your point. I'm just trying to look at the positives with it. Topaz Maki, I've took this totally as a negative thing. I hate that I'm not optimistic about it. And I also hope I'm wrong, obviously. I mean, yeah. I mean, I with Dreams, I always try to look at it positively because, you know, does a fantastic job with everything. And, you know, they were so quick to put VR1 into it. So I can honestly see them doing the same with VR2. If it was anybody else, I wouldn't be as optimistic, but it's So, you know, maybe I'm just biased.
See, I mean, that's the thing. Like, I was gonna go fix the issue, but then, you know, Notorious said that it's actually not bad, the sound.
I mean, I
So
can't hear anything on my end, so.
okay, I get worried because sometimes this mic decides what it wants to pick up,
Mm. Yeah.
and so I don't want it to be in people's ears. I'm trying to be safe. But to reply back to Tomaton, risking coming in hot and wrong. Yeah, see, this is a layered thing, okay? Because a lot of what I've been talking about recently is my excitement for Dreams on PSVR, specifically because moves don't work in my hands. And it's like
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like that's the next step of me getting like reaching the level I want to reach within Dreams. And
Mm.
that just means that now that level that I have foreseen, this thing that I was going to finally pour all my mind and into learning VR controls and all this stuff, like all of this stuff is now just gone. It's the
Okay.
DS4 now, like
Well,
now, or the DS5. Now, honestly,
yeah.
I've always used the DS5, so it's not going to stop me from doing everything. But I do kind of dislike that I have not been able to get moves working, and now there's going to be a better technology out there that would negate some of my tracking problems, but it's not going to be available on the only reason that I would buy PSVR2 to begin with. That
Mm.
is what I mean by coming in hot. Now, I don't know how wrong I am in that, but that's just how I feel.
Okay,
Because
but
I've put a lot into this. Now, into the thought of this as being like the next chapter of me in Dreams. Now, as Jamie said, this does not mean that we're never going to get a PS5 version of Dreams or a Dreams that works with PSVR2. My sadness comes just from the idea that it's not now, yeah, it's not happening anytime soon. And now you juxtapose that with what some of the people have said, like that have been on the show recently, or the sentiments that have been coming from the community, where everyone feels like Dreams as a tool, as what Dreams is, what you got day one, is more than worth the money. It's worth way more than what it costs now.
Yeah.
Is it still on sale for $7.99 again? But
I think
anyway,
so. Yeah.
I'm not trying to be negative about Dreams as Dreams. It's just there is a disappointment within me because that moment that I was foreseeing as like, my re-entry kind of into Dreams, because I've been away for a minute. And it's just like that was like okay, start getting your stuff together, because once we get this, it's off to the races. We're bringing out everything. We're finishing project. It's like I personally had put a lot into this idea that the next big thing that could happen for Dreams was the PSVR2, but more importantly, the new motion controllers. And now that's kind of, so that's a personal problem. That's not a problem with or any of that stuff, but it was a bit disappointing for me. And I just, it's still Dreams. I still love it. I'm still doing the show. It just...
I don't think this tweet is as transparent as we're looking at it. With the whole PSVR2 and Dreams compatibility is something our team is looking into. Like, that could literally mean anything. That could mean that they're thinking about it and talking about it in their meetings, or it could mean that they literally have a PSVR2 dev kit working in Dreams and testing out all the new features. Like, it depends on how you translate that they're looking into it. How are they looking into it? Is it literally just a discussion at a morning meeting that they have, or have they got the physical thing and testing it in the engine as we speak to see how it works and functions? That's where the difference here is.
Yeah, and I mean, Tomaton kind of hit it where he's like, I just feel like if Sony was ever going to put their support behind Dreams, it would be to push PSVR 2, their first party. Why aren't they the first adopters if they weren't kind of shying away from Dreams? And see, I'm not gonna sign. Well, no, go ahead.
So from Sony's perspective, it doesn't really make sense to use Dreams as like the first port of call to promote their new VR headset. It just doesn't. You look at the mass of people that are playing VR right now, and Dreams is not the answer for your marketing for a new VR headset. They've got Horizon Call of the Mountain. That's going to be a big, massive idea because it's an internal IP that they're making into VR. They've got all their partnering stuff with Star Wars and all of the other things that's coming out for it. Dreams as a platform just does not make sense to use as a primary thing to promote this headset. It's something that would come down the line. So that's why I would say, yeah, it's not a great idea to use Dreams to market this at all.
See, I just... Yeah, I mean, you're obviously right, because that's what's happening. But I just, like I said, for me it was that. But then it is kind of like, based off what Tomadon said, like, you would think, and this is the part that kind of surprised me about this message, is that as one of the only mainstream games in my opinion, of note, that used PSVR 1, I would have thought that Sony would have given the command to make sure that this... See, but
look, I think people
it's that statement
literally, because the bottom line is we don't even have a release date yet for PSVR 2. So how on earth can they put it on their roadmap if the headset itself doesn't even have a release date?
Okay, Corpo man, let's be real. There's a release date. We don't know it.
Yes.
We don't know it. But Sony and its partners definitely have an estimated release date.
Estimated release date, exactly.
Yes, but the thing is you're acting like they have no date.
No,
Like
of course not.
they have a
But we're
date.
still,
We just
yes,
don't know it.
yeah, I know what you're saying, but still, we're still in the very early stages of VR2. Like from a public perspective, we have no price, we have no release date, we have nothing. Like there's only just been an embargo lifted for reviews of the headset, and again, they're still extremely primitive. Like we don't have any deep dives into the spec list or tear downs. We have none of that yet. We're still at the very early stages of the promotion for VR2. I
Which
think we'll
can
find.
I get it? Can I get a
Yeah, yeah.
can I get an estimate of that price though? I still say it's
Oh,
going
for
to be
me?
400 at least.
Yeah, 399 I reckon is definitely. I think 399 is the sweet spot. I think any higher than 399 and you are asking way too much when your competition is, around that price. But then again, Oculus Quest did just increase their price by 100. So they could easily undermine the Oculus by going cheaper,
Yeah,
even though it
I mean, they
requires a
definitely
whole
could.
console to run it. So, like, you have to look at the big picture. You also need a PS5, which for one is extremely difficult to get, and two is like 450 on top. So there's that. But as a headset, though, for the marketing perspective, they could easily undercut them to gain that.
I just feel like you are. This is why I wanted to talk about this with you, because you're so optimistic about this
I am.
that
I am
that you
optimistic.
like. I'm optimistic about dreams as a whole. But this news, like, I feel like you're forcing yourself to take this statement in the most positive light that you could
Look,
possibly take
my
it.
my bottom line opinion with this is I think a PS5 version is coming a lot quicker than I originally thought. With the fact that they're looking into this, pretty much confirms that. And I do think that PSVR2 will eventually come to Dreams, and I don't think it's going to be as long as you reckon it is. I reckon that it will end up on their roadmap eventually, and it won't be that long after the PS5 version comes out. It just seems the natural evolution for Dreams to take. They always innovate with Sony's hardware. They always have done. I mean, look what they did with the Vita. They pretty much used every single inch of that device that they could and implemented it into the gameplay. It's just what Media Molecule loves to do. They love to play with things and integrate it into their software. So I really can't see them not using PSVR 2, especially with all the new features it has and how Dreamers can utilize that. They're just going to want to do it. And again, I'm a very optimistic person when it comes to Dreams, but I just see it as a no-brainer. Surely, yeah, it's not on the roadmap right now, but I look at it as them looking into it. The whole compatibility is something our team is looking into. I genuinely do believe that they have a dev kit there and they're testing out right now, and it will eventually come out when it's ready.
You have failed this city. I left a message in chat saying to keep talking until this blower is gone. Now they got
Oh,
weed
sorry.
whackers and a
Oh
wind
my
or a
God.
leaf blower out here. This dude has Megatron on his back. This thing is so loud. So loud. Anyway.
Bumble, we are taking calls, so jump into the lotion lobby whenever you're ready. Just mute yourself, and when we're ready, we'll let you in.
Yeah, guys, just jump in, say that you're here. We'll keep it going. I'm about to go fight this dude. Like, come on, bro. Anyway.
But what do you think it's going to be higher than 399?
I think it's possible.
Really? Like, what is your estimate? Like, I think 399 is definitely the sweet spot. I reckon that's what it's going to retail for. Like, what is your estimate of the retail price of this thing?
I say 399 and 450. And I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if it launched at a higher price, knowing that the adoption rate was not going to be big at first, and then having it come down in about a year to the price that it would have probably originally launched at. Like enthusiast only prices, because people will pay ridiculous money for VR, like the enthusiast. So release it for the enthusiast, we might see a high price off the jump, but then
That makes sense. Makes sense.
I think he's blowing my whole street. Dude, you just cut that yawn. You just caught that lawn. Like, how is this taking so long? Anyway, the point is, the point is that I think we could get enthusiast prices first, and it could come out at like 500, and then
Oh,
I
you really think it?
and then I think in about a year,
Wow.
because it still holds top specs to a bunch of I mean to almost every other device currently.
Yeah, I mean it does.
So
Yeah.
so with that being the case, and then of course you're going to sit there and talk about inflation. You're going to have the price is going to be initially higher than it automatically would be. I didn't expect this to happen because I thought people were calling, not with their video, but both of you fit in the window.
Oh
So
wow, there
I'll
we go.
I'll take it for now. What's going on, Bumble? I can't hear you.
Not
Oh,
not
there we
much.
go.
My mic has a little bit of a delay, so I apologize.
That's all
No
right.
problem. So it's like this when I try to record Mighty All Good. Thank you, Ninja. But yeah, it does feel well. They've packed up and they're pulling away, so I should be good again.
Good. Good.
I
All
should be
right.
good again.
All right, Bumble. So what have you got?
Yeah.
Uh, PSVR2, I want it to happen, even though I'm not very much a VR person myself. I know it'd bring a lot of benefits to the Dreams community and like open up a lot more experiences for the players and people like that.
So I mean, and as far as the tweet goes, like, would you get PSVR2 if Dreams wasn't on it?
Uh, Probably not, to be honest.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I feel the same. It's
I mean,
literally the only reason I have interest in VR at all so far.
yeah.
So far, they could
Let,
always release something that gets me on,
I
but
agree. Yeah. Unless they start doing what I want them to do with games, the only thing that would interest me with VR2 is Dreams. That's it. Unless they start making these big titles that I can lose myself in, Dreams is the only thing I'd want VR2 for.
okay. No, well, I mean, like I said, I like the way that you took this, your meaning behind the tweet. It just it feels, and probably for the reasons I explained already, it feels like it yeah, probably for the reasons that I explained, my anticipation, you know, and everything, that it just feels like this feels like now it's at least like a year and a half away instead of
And,
3 months,
mm,
like three and a half months, five max. So it's just my anticipation that has ruined this for me and probably made me feel saddened by the tweet.
yeah. Yeah, I
But
get
I
that. Yeah, that
but
makes
I
sense.
also, as I do want to say, I want to commend Media Molecule because they said it.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
don't.
and that's yeah,
There's no guessing now. Like they've
yeah,
said it. So I mean, I still have my qualms. I still have my thoughts on it, but at least they said it. So now I know what I'm dealing with.
I mean, yeah, they didn't even
Um,
have to say anything, so
so the fact that Sony came out and made it to where PSVR isn't compatible with PS4 or with any of those games, I think that's makes it safe to assume that for PlayStation or Sony, Media Molecule is not one of their priorities right now.
hmm. And why would you say that that media molecule's not their priority though?
Oh, because that's how I feel. I mean, that's
I think
basically
it,
what I've been trying to get at this whole time.
Yeah,
Is that it
yeah.
I
feels
think
weird
it,
to me that the one thing that really was a PSVR1 kickoff, like it was something that was offered that's never been offered before in a game console. And Dreams did that, and now you would, I like you said, you would think that would be like the order would come down, and it might have, we just don't know, but it feels like this isn't the statement of the order came down. It just doesn't feel that way. But anyway, Bumble, go ahead.
The reason I say Media Molecule or Dreams, whichever one it is, isn't a priority to Sony right now is because if it was a priority, they would have thought in their minds, hey, we have this really cool game called Dreams. Maybe we should make PSVR2 compatible with both PS4 and PS5 so it works on that system. And so it can be integrated into the game a lot better or a lot more easily with the update from Media Molecule.
All right, okay, I see what you're getting at now. Okay, so from a hardware perspective, PSVR1 was never ever going to be compatible with PS5 because the technology leap that they've done with the new hardware makes it literally impossible for PS4 versions, PS4 PSVR1 games to work because the games use a much older technology with the light tracking and the ones, what they're called again, the move controllers and stuff. Like all of that's been completely taken away now. You don't need a camera to actually track your movements and stuff because the PSVR2 is following in the same suit as Oculus Quest and how their devices is developed with inside-out tracking by adding the cameras to the physical headset itself. And the controllers are IR censored using infrared technology and things like the technology itself between the two headsets has completely changed. So from a software and hardware perspective, porting those games over would be such a difficult job that it would essentially mean you'd have to create a newer version of the games. And that's all but been confirmed with Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, the new version that they're making specifically for PSVR 2. It's the same game, but they're just changing the way that the game works so it works with the new hardware. So they've had to make a new version, which is essentially the PS5 version, and removing out all of the old technology and replacing it with the new. It's not so much a port anymore, it's a new version, and that's purely down to the hardware, the change in the hardware that's happened.
And would you? I mean, can I add, because Timinator brought this up, and this was what I was gonna also bring up, like, and this is probably why I'm not part of a big company like Sony because I'd make crap decisions, I guess. But Dreams, I would straight up have rebuilt it and packaged it as a in-box game you get with the PSVR 2.
Yeah. Okay. But that would still mean a PS5 version of Dreams being released in order for that to function.
Yes, and this verifies that, at least for now, none of that's on the roadmap.
Well, like I said, if they're looking into PSVR2 in whatever fashion, whether that be a conversation at a meeting table or they've got a dev kit in hand, that gives clarification that a PS5 version of Dreams is coming. Otherwise, why would they even consider looking at PSVR 2 if their whole roadmap consists of Dreams continuing to just be a PS4 version?
I mean, like I said, you're taking the looking into it and going
Yeah,
way beyond what I think is mentioned in this post, but I hope you're right.
But regardless, whether they're looking into it in whatever fashion, to look into it would mean that this PS5 version is indeed coming. Otherwise, it's a wasted resource of looking into it in the first instance.
See, but this is the thing. This isn't about the PS5 version. This is about compatibility, which means it would have to be a PS5 version.
Exactly.
But to say you're looking into it sets the timetable outside of what a lot of people wanted. Now, while I say that, I would also like to mention that there were a lot of people who liked that this comment came. There were a lot of people who really were positive about. They were like, I'm so glad to hear it. I don't want to have to worry about, division within, like, between PS5 and blah, 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 blah. Of course, I disagree with those people completely. But not to an extent where I'm like, no, you're wrong. It's just, I see a different future. Yeah. Like, and that's just it. It's just like, people are like, I don't want to be left behind. And it's like, Dreams is still going to work on your PS4. But as everyone knows, my stance, as always, somebody made a post earlier this week that was like, hot take. uh, our media molecule should focus dreams towards PS5 and not worry about the people on PS4. And I was like, welcome, dude. I've been saying that for a year. Like, it's not that I don't care about division within the community. It's, as I've always stated on this show, I will forever believe that if you're working within a technological field, you should never willingly be held back from new technology. Mm-hmm. You should always be looking to get better and expand. Always. And anybody who cares truly about what you're doing, in my opinion, don't come for me. Y'all are going to anyway in my DMs. You always do. But wouldn't you rather have the full capabilities of the PS5 even to look forward to if you love the platform? Like, if you love Dreams, I know it's hard to get a PS5 right now, but we could go back and clock it. I was saying this before I had a PS5. I never want to be a reason for something to not get better if it can be better. Shoot for the goddamn moon. And I'll catch up when my rocket works. That's just how I see it. So I love that people did actually find someone else with a different viewpoint from me that's just as valid as me, looks at this statement and is like, oh, thank God. So I don't want anybody to jump in thinking if anyone's here that it would matter to. I'm not sitting here saying y'all are all wrong. Oh, it's wrong. I have been messed up. I'm not saying any of that. It's just I will always vote. Let's say they came out with a version that was on a PS5 Pro.
Okay.
And it no longer ran on PS5. I couldn't get that new version because it was in PS5 Pro. I would not complain. I would look into getting a PS5 Pro. And if I couldn't, then I would look at what people were creating in it, assessing whether it was worth it, and then deciding whether I needed to change my version of Dreams. I wouldn't be like, oh, it's terrible they came out with a PS5 Pro version. They're jipping me. I was an early adopter. I wouldn't do that. Mm-hmm. But I feel like people think that's what's it. You still get to use Dreams. Anyway. Anyway.
If anything, right now is the ideal time for them to do it. If they're going to do a split, because no matter when you do it, there's going to be a split. If this comes out, that's just inevitably going to happen. And in my opinion, now is the best time more than ever while the community is still in its small stage. Imagine doing this when your community's 50 times larger than what it is. That's going to make it more difficult. So while Dreams is still in its low numbers, it's still 1,000 online daily or sub 1,000. Now's the best time than ever to do it. And then when it grows, people have got the choice on which platform to go on. And obviously the majority are going to pick PS5 as people start to transition to the newer hardware. It just makes sense to do it now, really. But obviously I'm not MM or Sony, and I don't know, my word means nothing.
Yeah. So, Topaz said, how big of a community is there left to divide up? Making it better would bring it more people, I would think. Dude, if Dreams 2 was on PS5, just tell me that. I'll shut up. Tell me that right now. I will set the money aside and I will be on it day one. I would not mind if they've this whole time been sitting in the background looking at, working on Dreams 2, then, and they were like, well, we're just going to bring out the next one. Amen, brother. Once again, I have no problems. No problems. Just bring out a new one. Charge me. You know what? You charged me $40 for the last one full price. Go ahead and charge me $70. I'll pay it. I'll pay it day one. I don't mind. Literally, if they had that, I would do it, and it would be amazing. And I'd be like, fine, now it's compatible with everything that's coming. Now I can wait, but I got something. It's just Willow says, but I'd rather be pleasantly surprised than bitterly disappointed. So I will assume the worst and hope for the best. That's my girl. That's like the base standpoint I take all the time.
Yeah.
It's like I'm sorry, but I live on Earth. So I expect the worst at all times. I work with whatever I got. That's how this thing works. So, hey, Bumble, did you have anything else, or can we move on to the next caller?
I think the do you think the server things they announced at Dreamscom, do you think that has anything to do with this? With the actual PSVR2? Like splitting with the servers?
No, if anything, well, let me let Jammy, the server man.
No. My opinion is just no. I don't think it has anything to do with PSVR2 at all. Literally nothing. That's just
I say the same. I think that possibly had more to do with multiplayer incoming than PSVR2. And I did see your message, MC Alchemist, saying multiplayer better than the PSVR2 or was it Dreams PS5 update?
Multiplayer over VR.
Over VR? I mean, I just want the new controls that track better. That's the VR part. I'm more interested in it if I could do it with Dreams. Now PSVR 2 has literally zero meaning for me. Zero. Nothing they've shown so far means anything to me.
From growing a Dreams perspective, like bringing more people into Dreams, multiplayer makes way more sense over VR, like a million times. Like if you add multiplayer to this thing, that's how you're going to grow your player base. So if there was going to do anything to help grow the player base, I would say multiplayer is 100% the way to go over VR.
And I just don't know. I just don't know because I mean, you know me, I've always been on the fence about this. Well, because we don't know what type of VR what type of multiplayer is being implemented. And I see it every week on Twitter, these conversations of people being like the player VR or I'm stuck on VR now. The player multiplayer or the creator side multiplayer. And from the creators, you have, I don't care, I want creator side, because it would shrink production time so much for a lot of people that more people are like half want that. The other half want like basically the player side multiplayer, and both sides are going to be mad if it's one or the other. And if it's both, that's like the surefire hit. But I don't even know how they would do that, honestly, in the construct of how Dreams works now. And piece of craft, I am not wearing a robe, but I do have the chest out for the ladies if they want it today. No, I literally just threw on this hoodie it's a middle zip hoodie before I came in. And it was hot in the room, which is why I had the window open. Because if I turn on this industrial strength fan I have over here, y'all are going to think I'm in a wind tunnel. But then the guys came to cut the grass. But anyway, it's to get a little extra air on my broad chest. That's why. That's why. It's Big Tony style. So anyway, it's
I think with multiplayer, I think if was going to do anything, I think initially the multiplayer side would be split into two different projects. The multiplayer side where you can add multiplayer functionality to your Dreams so multiple people can play them at once. And then there would be the whole creator side where people can collaborate in real time on your project. I think they would literally have to split it into two individual projects because one is much more complicated than the other in the traditional sense. Obviously, both are going to be complicated to add to Dreams. But to me personally, I think adding live collaboration as multiplayer seems a lot more difficult than implementing traditional multiplayer to Dreams. So I think if multiplayer was to come out, the whole adding multiplayer to your Dreams would come out first, and then there'd be a second wave where the live collaboration side comes into it. Because from a again, to bring players in, it just makes perfect sense to add multiplayer to this. This is how you grow your community and get more players in, so that would take priority.
Well, all right. I mean, like I said, I try to think of how it would work within Dreams as it is right now, and Lord, and just thinking of what like the matchmaking would be, like for getting multiple people into one dream. That alone seems impossible to my brain.
Yeah.
Would-
The infrastructure for it will be absolutely crazy because if you look at if anyone's ever actually looked how multiplayer works, like in how people are added to lobbies and how they're held in a specific space until there's a select amount of people to go live, and then that group then goes into a different channel and that's distributed on one side, and then you got another group coming in and going to this side, and that's just running on one game. Like Dreams is a game with games within games within games. Like how they're actually going to host this and manage it is an absolute minefield. It's crazy.
yeah. So, Char, I did see what you said about wanting to test your mic. Once, basically, join whenever you want to. But yeah, keep it to call form, not video. Let me see here. Topaz Mackie, the more you guys talk about the including Dreams as a bundle, the more I can't see why they don't give it away right now anyway. Like it's almost free most of the time as is.
Yeah.
In a recent well, semi-recent podcast, we talked about that. And if it was behind like if it was in a bundle, I wouldn't have any problem with it being given away free. With how often it is on sale, though, I like there being just a tad bit of a paywall, even if it's minuscule. Even if it's minuscule, just enough of a paywall to where we could avoid some of the tragedy that would undoubtedly come.
Yeah.
OG the Enigma, the best name. I love it. There'd probably be a party system with a host that chooses the dream to play. That would be fantastic. Just general lobby matchmaking and the host gets to pick the dream. Yeah. There's no way it'll have public matchmaking. Probably form a group in your home space and the host selects shaping or surfing. Yeah.
It would have to be.
I hate to say it, but multiplayer should have some microtransaction of some sort for MM's sake. No.
How would you microtransaction multiplayer? Like, would it be credit to play a multiplayer game or something? Like, how would that work? It sounds horrible.
What I would say is, and we've talked about this before, imp dances. Oh God. You know what? That's not bad. But
I would pay for imps all day.
But this is the thing. I would like I would like if made DLC packs. Things that basically because look, if you're gonna say I would buy the imp dances, the thing we talked about last week about having doing a community thing where we create a base rig that has a crap ton of animations. If did that and then say, hey, you can get this new improved puppet with all of this preloaded stuff on it, and they were like $5.99, I'd buy it. I'd take that over them having some sort of microtransaction like loot box matchmaking thing.
No, God no. For microtransactions, for me, as I've always stated in the past, when it's purely just cosmetic, I have no problem with it. But when you start paywalling parts of a game, or paying for advantages or something, like, then I'm not into it. Like, I don't like it at all. Purely cosmetics in like a free-to-play live service game is free game. Like, you do you. If you want to pay $5 for an outfit for your character because you like it, that's fine. It doesn't give you an advantage over the game or anything. You do you. But when you start paying for parts of a game that make it better because you've paid for it, then it just becomes pay to win. And I'm not down for that at all. I don't like the idea of Media Molecule making like asset packs that you have to pay for. You're just going into the same territory with Project Spark. Like they locked down all of their assets and things behind paywalls, and that's why it failed. And I don't want to see the same thing happen to Dreams.
See, I don't have a problem with that. Like if like you're not paying for an advantage. They're offering something that you have a big studio behind to make your experience better. This isn't the same as like an XP boost. It's like
Yeah.
if like I said, if you could get a puppet. Now, if they decided to release a puppet like, that was free, of course, that's awesome. But I'm saying there's not one person here, I don't think, that wouldn't like basically the full power of MM behind an asset that you can then do whatever you want with it. Because there are issues with certain things, including some of the main puppets. And like one, they're not symmetrical. Like there's things that are a little off, but people can fix those. But I'm just saying, like, if it's about giving MM money, I mean, to be able to do more, I'm willing to give them money. If they put out something, the puppet was just an idea based off of what we were talking about last week. But yeah, if they made the Uber puppet that came with a bunch of preloaded like animations, reactions, had full facial rigging, and they were like, "Hey, $5.99," or I think it would more reasonably be like a $3.99 type thing. I'd count that the same as DLC and not microtransactions. It's literally something everybody can get. Some people would rather build their own to begin with. So it's just an option there to help people, and would it be extremely helpful for beginners, for all these new players y'all are talking about jumping in. Like, I don't see it as a boon. Now, if they were like doing something, like I can't think of anything that you could possibly do shady. Like that's definitely worth money. And for people who've put in thousands of hours, or people who want to jump in and are like, I want to make animations, but they're not that onto like the logic side of things to make it work. Just having that pre-done for you, I'd be willing to pay for it. Now, well, that's a great example. Someone just put it. Alex, what's going on? Hi there, bud. One dirty thing they could do is if you had to pay for thermo. Someone just said it. I can't remember in chat. It was $5.99 to increase thermo.
That was me.
Yeah. Oh, that's you. Yeah. Now, see, that would be dirty.
Yeah.
But
totally.
But that's not something That's not something they would do. Like there's what I feel like they would do and what they wouldn't. But is Char still waiting on the outside of
these? Yeah, I think we need to get Char in. Char, do you want to unmute and come in with your question?
Okay. Well, I don't know. I'm just here for the ride, I guess. But what was Miney saying? Like, if they charge like, wait, do I sound okay to you guys?
Yeah, you sound fine.
All right. I was gonna make a joke if they like charge money for like more thermo and the graphics quality. Well, I guess I'm not eating tonight. No,
yeah.
You see, for me, I would not buy it purely out of. I just couldn't, because it doesn't sit right with me. Like locking down thermo to a price tag it just doesn't sit well, and I wouldn't do it purely out of principle.
I don't think it'd really be possible either, because you know how the PS4 and PS5 have hardware capabilities.
It's local hardware limitations. Unless they went fully cloud-based, where the whole of the Dream is running directly off of their servers, so that they can upgrade the amount of RAM or whatever. That's the only way they could do that. But I mean, let's be realistic. It's MM. They're not going to lock down Thermo to a paywall anyway.
Also, can you hear me fine?
Yeah.
It's a little glitchy, but it's okay.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
can you actually turn camera off for me?
Okay.
Okay. And then we'll just keep gathering people, but it's the 2 in the 1 square is bothering me.
Yeah.
It's doing my nut in. But anyway, so let's see. Actually, there is something else they could monetize: instruments and sound effects. Little Big Planet had purchasable instruments.
You did?
I don't remember purchasable instruments in.
Oh, the moves pack, right?
I don't remember. It's so long ago.
The PlayStation Moves pack. Remember that?
No, I don't think I do.
It was a level pack made for the release of the PlayStation Moves. You know, the little ones. And
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't like Little Big Planet like used to sell these like skins for like IPs or something?
Yeah, I mean that's a great idea. Like again, adding cosmetics, like being able to dress up your imp, like with other PlayStation IPs and stuff, and you just pay $2.99 or whatever for a new imp or a costume for your imp or something. I'd be completely fine with that because it's just purely cosmetic.
See, I wouldn't have a problem with even the music pack, because they've given you everything so far. Everything. And now because the only reason any of us are talking about MM monetizing is because there's this subtle background fear that the studio is somehow not going to make enough money to be recognized by Sony as a major player that they can put their force behind. That's what all this is about, because we have everything we need. And so, with that being the case, if we're going to validate that thought process, then the bottom line is I would straight up give them money. I bet if MM didn't give us anything and they just said, hey guys, we're lacking a little bit in the pockets, we're lacking a little bit, we're just going to start a fundraiser for MM. I'm pretty sure all of us would be there. Like, and so if they, like, the best way to do that, what's up, Vince? And as far as Alex said, yeah, this is the first time I'm trying out a dual stream to Twitch and YouTube at the same time, because I used to do it way back in the day, but for some reason it just stopped working. So this is the first run. But yeah, I mean, if they were like, hey, we're gonna load out this puppet, $3.99. Take it. It has full facial rigging. You can still mess with it, do whatever. That's it. The only thing that they could then or would then have to do is just lock being able to share it. And you know what? It kind of goes against Dreams, but at the same time, I wouldn't care because you still got puppets. Like, I don't, you know, it's like if it's a DLC, there's stuff like that. Anyway, the point is, I think it would be good. And the reason I say the puppet thing is because we've all seen that guy on Twitter, on Reddit, on Facebook, who wanted to make a game, got in. There wasn't a puppet that fit everything that he wanted to be in his game. The logic was too much of a wall to climb, and he gave up on Dreams. We've all seen that comment. We've all seen it. That means that there's still something that can be done to make the entry bar not so high for certain players. Now, we could all sit there because I can see it on your smug face, Jamie.
Yeah.
I can see it on your smug face. But look, everybody doesn't have all the time in the world.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying.
And like I can't animate or like logic up a puppet either. Like so I get where you're going with it, but at what point do you draw the line of it becoming a creation engine or a drag and drop engine? Like, the whole point is that you create You have this engine that can do everything you need it to do to create whatever you want. But then, I just feel it's maybe too much hand holding. Like maybe some templates or something to help understand how
Look,
animation and logic entwine together and stuff. But if you start down that road of creating this puppet that can do everything, and that becomes popular and people buy it because it can do everything, then that's just going to lead into, okay, well, we'll start making level packs so people don't have to create the levels, and we'll do all of this and all of that, and then it literally just becomes purchase all the individual elements, drop it all together, and you've got a slapdash game that everybo's making because everyone's just buying the same stuff.
no, that is that. First of all,
But
that is like the worst. That's
But
the
that,
worst
yeah, but that,
explanation
I,
I've ever
I'd like to
heard,
add,
bro. Well, hold on one second, because this is the thing. Just because you give like one, let's say they did do that, you still have the power to create
yes,
anything you want.
yes,
What's
but
the
for the
problem
people
with
that
giving people options
Yeah, but for
to
the
with a
target,
base?
but for the people that you're targeting, the people that don't want to basically put in the effort to create, then it kind of goes against the whole essence of using dreams in the first place. Like, if you just want to drag and drop stuff together, what's the point? Like, I don't get it.
If you just want to drag and drop stuff, what's wrong with him having your money to do it?
Yeah, I don't know. I
No,
just don't
no. See,
like.
you're
Like to me,
look,
no, like
look,
to me,
King
like, look,
James, you're making
I
some
would look.
decrees right
No, no,
now
no,
that I'm
look, no,
just
no, no,
not
no, no,
about.
no, no,
Okay.
no. Let me just clarify. Like, I would love to create like a massive, beautifully crafted 3D platforming game. Like, I'd love to do that, but I can't, so I don't do it. I don't instead try and find an engine where I can drag and drop a load of crap together to make a slapdash game and go, hey, I made a game. Like, no, that's why I'm making Pitch Black the way it is, because it's easier. I can get rid of all the graphics and focus on the stuff I know. Like, I
Yeah,
don't know. I,
but
I just see it in a different way, I suppose. Like, I
no, no,
wouldn't.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a stand. I'm gonna let Char talk now, but I'm gonna take
Okay.
a
All right.
stand. And before that, because I want you to come at me after he's done, you're wrong.
All right. Okay.
You,
All right.
no, no, you're wrong. You're just straight
Okay.
up wrong. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Get that smug King James there to you. I love it. But just like Ninja said in chat, handmade artisanal dreams, not from concentrate. They do curate the community kits, hoping people will drag and drop.
Yeah.
You're throwing so much shade at people who literally love to curate and just drag and drop to make beautiful scenes. That
I know.
you
Yeah.
off on this one, bro. You off on this one. Now, Char, what's going on, man?
I was gonna add, like, I I personally think there will be some people who, like, even if you give them the assets, like completed assets with what they want or need or stuff, there's still gonna be like in between stuff they're gonna have to do, like with the logic side or with how they want something to look. Um, that even some people might just give up entirely on. And that's the thing, like Dreams is still like an engine. Like it gives you the tools of what an engine is capable of, like as simplistically as it can, but it's still like an engine. You know, we might never go as far as like, it reading your mind and then just boom, pop out the creation exactly how you want it. But I don't know, it's like Dreams go as far as it can, but it can't satisfy like every like I guess false creator. I don't know the word for it, but it's like if for me personally, when someone says like, "Oh, I could make an entire brand like greatest movie ever if I just had like $1 million," and I'm just sitting there like, I don't believe you because even if you had the money or whatever tech for it, you still have to have like time and knowledge on on the art and subject itself to make it. And it's kind of thing with the same applies with dreams is kind of my point. No.
Yeah, I don't think it leads to the end, as I think you're alluding to. I don't think it leads to the end that Jammy's depicting. Because Willow brings up a great point in chat. She said, think about how many fully built rigs you can get in other programs like Blender. It doesn't mean that you still don't know how, like, have to learn how to use it, but not having that initial, like, hump of, like, no, just the initial hump of, okay, well, I'm going to build this rig. Crap, I suck at sculpting. Okay, I need the rig to be able to do this. Crap, I need to learn logic. Yeah, you're still going to have to learn those things, but in the end, it's just, if someone isn't that serious and they do want to just play around, they do want to curate and just drag and drop, there's no reason, because you can do that in other people's stuff, in other programs. That just means you're cutting out a possible user by not having that stuff. And in the whole construct of the conversation of basically, like, what can they do to, you know, make money, if that was even an issue, or to, you know, streamline it for certain people, the more options are always better. And just like what we were talking about in the pre-show about why I love streaming services and all that stuff, it's because when you vote for things like binge over week to week, what you're actually voting on is viewer choice. A person can have a whole series and still watch an episode a week. They don't need to have the company tell them when they can watch it. So this is the same thing.
I get your point, but
okay,
I don't want to see Dreams turn into Unreal Marketplace. Like, to me, it's just no. I just don't want to see that. Like, I think it goes against everything that Dreams is. Like,
if it was everybody and not just MM, maybe. But I don't have that fear with MM.
I don't know. I just don't like the idea of it at all. Like, paywalling stuff.
You're not paywalling.
Well, it is.
No, it's not, because everything that they could give you, you could make yourself. This isn't like the other games where, like, you're paying for a bullet damage boost. Like, it's you can create everything they would give you. You're merely using it as a speed up in the process, which is what the same part of this argument is what you've been telling me about my hang up with using other people's assets.
Yeah,
it speeds up the process.
Yes, but that's the philosophy of Dreams: is play, create, share your stuff, everyone working together. When you add a paywall behind it, that's the part that I don't like.
There's
have no
issue paywall
with. We just talked about, like, paywalling the thing. I've lost my
It's
track
like
now.
an additional asset,
Like the thing you're on about, the ultimate puppet thing, like paywalling it. It's I don't know. I just don't like the idea of putting a price tag behind these things.
On an unrelated note,
hold on before we switch on something unrelated. The thing is I don't consider it to be the same as a paywall, because it's not actually a wall blocking you from anything. Everything that's being
I don't know.
I just need you to use a different word than paywall.
All right then. Putting a price behind pre-made assets, then there we go. We'll put it that way.
I'll take it. Okay.
There you go. There you go. All right,
it's just when you say paywall.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Okay.
Not a paywall. Adding a price tag to pre-made assets is something that I do not want to see added to Dreams at all. I just don't like the idea of it. Whether that be user-created stuff or MM stuff, the idea of assets being... Like, if they made a whole game and they added a price tag behind that, that's fine. But assets... No, I don't want UE Marketplace.
Now that's a paywall.
Yeah, but it's not. It's not.
But it's an actual game within Dreams that you can't access because you have to pay for it. That's the actual definition of a paywall.
Yes, but that's no different than buying any game, right? You've still got all the tools to create your own game. This is just premium games that's made within it by the developer. I see no issue with that at all. But if you start going like, but we've made this asset pack where we've got all these walls and all these skyboxes and all these characters and all these logic things and stuff for a price, I don't like that. But if they made a fully fledged game,
I'm
then
super.
that's different. I don't know.
I'm
I know.
super interested because
I
this
know.
is straight up
I
sounds
know.
like it sounds
I
like
know.
you
I
know
know
what
it's
it sounds
completely
like. Okay,
contradictory. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
completely contradictory. I totally
Okay.
get it.
Okay,
but I've
as
said
long
this
as you
in the
see
past.
it.
Like, yeah, like I've said it in the past that MM should do that. They should start that, like, putting MM originals out that's really big projects and put a price tag on them, and that would be fine. But assets, I don't know. I just don't like UE Marketplace and the way that it is, and I just feel like that could be really nasty in Dreams. That's just
Okay,
it.
Ninja said, "What if MM gave preferential pick treatment to creators who use the things they sell?" Do you think? Let me counter that with a question. Do you think MM would do that?
No, I don't.
Because a lot of the reason that I have so much goodwill towards Media Molecule, and even outside of Dreams being, in my opinion, the greatest game ever made, it's it's that I don't believe that they would do that. I don't. Now, if it turned out I was wrong about that, then yeah, I'd be right back on here and we would be talking about it. But I just don't believe that. And when Square Fleck came out, a little square got a pick. They definitely want to show it off. Want to show it off so to a degree, yes, huh?
Do you
I
think
I just
do you think MM has a preferential pick towards certain creators right now?
I would say yes, personally. I think there's certain creators in Dreams that MM keep an eye on, and yeah, I would say, in my opinion, yes.
I think so too, but just because like mostly towards the creators that like MM kind of like are growing with, like
Mm.
the people who have been here like for the longest, and like people who are really like building towards something like great, and that are um, gonna help like grow like this community when once like some big push like comes out, and then people will see all the great creations by
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely
see.
agree. Like, yeah.
I don't know. I don't feel like they have preferential treatment towards MM picks. I do believe that there are people who consistently make games that are of a higher quality than a lot. And also, it is kind of like it's a live service. It's all hooked to social media as well. So like they aren't going to see, just like we can't see everything everyone's working on. They can't see everything that everyone's working on. So the community, I think itself, raises certain people up, and they take those people. Now, I do believe that there's a preferential, uh, not treatment, but I do think, just like with any business, if you've proven to be able to work well with them, then you will continue to get opportunities to work with them.
Yeah, sure.
Just like with any business. So I wouldn't call
Yeah.
it preferential treatment or anything like that. It's just you become an ambassador of the community. And
Well,
yeah, but that's just how I see that. I mean, I don't know about the preferential MM pick thing. Like, I think people get a little too salty over that stuff, personally. Like, people expect them
well,
to know everything that's ever been put out in the Dreamiverse, and we don't know everything that's been put out in the
Yeah.
Dreamiverse. There's
Yeah.
Yeah.
people whose stuff I'm just seeing, and they posted their creation 2 years ago, and I'm just seeing it on Twitter because somebody retweeted it randomly, and I'm like,
Mm.
whoa, yeah, I'm gonna go check that out. What is that? Like, it blows my mind, but that's just it. There's no way they can know everybody's stuff. They have to go off of what they see, and what they see is controlled by algorithms and what we push up as a community.
I think it's kind of like starving artists like wanting like validation for their like artwork, you know. So that might be why, like, some people might think there's a preference like MM has, but
Yeah, it's
they're
jealousy.
just like,
Yeah, it's not so much a
Yeah,
preference as opposed to like a bar of quality. Like
it,
we're not stupid. Like there is certain bars in Dreams. Like people, there's some people that are just way above everybody else in terms of the stuff that they can create, and that's because they spend so much time on it. So obviously that stuff is going to get picked because it's amazing stuff, and obviously Media Molecule want to showcase the amazing stuff that people have created. So, you can't have your cake and eat it. Like, these people create absolutely mind-blowing scenes and games and stuff. So it only makes sense that if they continue to create tons of mind-blowing games and scenes, that the same people are going to get picked because of what they're creating.
yeah. Willow
Uh,
says content creators without a Twitter presence have a much lesser chance to be picked up, I feel, just because they're not on their radar. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Twitter is a massive space for dreams. Absolutely huge.
And Orly Haptic, yes, this is live. Hey, what's going on? Um, so I mean, like I said, I'm not trying to dismiss anyone on how they feel. All artists want to see their work get seen by someone. But just like with everything, you jump on hell, you jump on TikTok, you jump on Twitter, you jump on YouTube. Your first post, no matter really how good it is, you're not going to get the return because you are not known within the space. People
Yeah.
don't know to look for you. That's just the simple truth of the matter. Is that, like, I mean, hell, I'm speaking to you as a person who deals with this because we all deal with it. Like, I've been making videos on YouTube and streaming. Most of y'all know me only for maybe a year. I've been streaming for like 8 years now. And I now, mind you, there's another side of this conversation because I know y'all are calling bullshit, but let me just say it. I don't want to be one of those people that have 3,000 people in their chat and can't have a conversation with anyone.
Mm.
So like when I
Yeah.
like when I post that I reached 300 subscribers on YouTube, and I'm like, I know it's not a lot to a lot of you. I'm not making any money. Nobody's trying to get me to do ads for them, but I appreciate it because I at least know that all of y'all are here because you do enjoy being here. It's not I didn't go viral with some dumb video and now all of a sudden people expect something of me. Like, as an artist, when you get out there, it's hard to be seen anywhere. There's so many people. There's so many people. It's hard to be seen anywhere. And some of the times, the level of saltiness that people get from not being seen, it's telling. Let me just say that. It's telling. We all want to be seen. We all want to be the next thing. But at the same time, there's a way that it works. And I would say that it took all of those years, those 8 years of streaming, to learn how to even build a group that is as close knit and loving as all of us are right now, even though we don't always agree. So it doesn't happen overnight. Hone your craft, the same thing I said about the people waiting for monetization within dreams. Hone your craft, get better, and at the end of the day, if you've done enough, if you've learned the game, it'll work out. Just don't do it, but do it because you love it. Don't do it because you're trying to be rich.
Yeah.
Because if I was trying to be rich,
I-
this channel would look a lot different.
uh,
The reason I ask whether MM has preferential treatment or whatever you want to call it right now is because I've heard some people's stories of them experiencing or what they think is experiencing some sort of bias from MM. And I've even experienced some of it myself, to be honest, but I won't go into it, but it's a long story.
Save that
I
for the episode that we're going to have, which is going to be the share your worst experience within dreams.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the place not to use names. We're still not going to allow names to be dropped here.
Yeah.
But people will have a chance to tell their stories from dreams that aren't the most colorful, because you got to take the good with the bad. We love dreams.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think dreams is like the greatest thing ever created. But nothing's perfect, and everybody's going to have their different situations within it. So, anyway, I wanted
Definitely
to
come back with that, though, because that's super intriguing.
Yeah, I did want to touch on orally haptic ghost cat. What? GB, the
Wait,
orally
what?
haptic ghost cat, chatting in from YouTube.
Wow,
he
what a
says
name!
he says, I'm deeply shaken that PSVR2 isn't on the roadmap for Dreams because I create only in VR. They said that their team is looking into it, so I'm a bit encouraged by that bit. Sorry I missed the discussion. It's okay. That's why we're doing it live, and it'll be on the YouTube so you can go back through on the VOD. But basically, all it comes down to is I took it as a downer because of my anticipation, and the only reason I wanted PSVR 2 was because of Dreams. Jammy, my ever gracious co-host, has the most delightful take on it, and that it's just we just have to wait a little longer. They're looking into it, my guy. They're looking into it. They haven't let us down. They haven't let us down. It's
They
cool.
haven't.
It's cool. It's cool. It's not disappointing at all. It's fantastic. I love it.
We do have Jet Yeti that's entered in the call.
Oh, Jet Yeti.
Yes. So Jet Yeti, do you want to unmute?
Oh,
Ooh.
do we have him? Jet Yeti?
Oh, there we go.
Hello?
Yeah,
Hey.
what's going on?
Oh shit, it actually worked. Alright. Well, I was trying to, well, I guess it's the topic's already passed, but I was talking about mostly the sort of, what was it, the sort of DLC thing that you had when you was like buy a specific puppet for $3 and it comes with like facial animation, custom animation, a bunch of all that stuff. I think that's a terrible idea.
Okay. You want to
Yeah.
expand?
Do you want to extend on
Well-
that a little bit? Like why?
Yeah, he was. I was kind of agreeing with Jamie with the. It seems like it'll just sort of snowball. It'll go from a puppet, then it'll go to, holy crap, a puppet to a sort of level pack. Then it'll just keep going further and further, and then, well, it's just going to keep going higher and higher. Oh, I want a level pack. Oh, I want a puppet. Oh, I want certain lighting. Oh, I want this, and I really don't want it to end up, again, like Project Spark, how he was saying. I hated it so much. And there were specific characters that had certain abilities already attached to them that were in Project Spark or part of sci-fi pack, part of the horror pack, or part of the, I don't know if there was a Christmas one, I don't think so. But there was all sorts of those things, and I hated it. I just wanted to be able to build and to create. And also, you can probably just find some of that stuff in Dreams in general that someone has made. Hayes Gamer made a puppet with facial animations you can use, and you can actually see it and how it works, and it's actually really detailed and really cool. I was going to ask for his help whenever, if possible, because it was actually something I wanted to do with that. Apart from that, like I was saying, I still think it's a terrible idea.
All of it was based off of the hypothetical situation in which if they did have a DLC or if they were to input microtransactions, what would you rather them have?
Imps. If anything, I would just use Imps.
And I feel like that is cool. And you're right, there are things offered. But also, you still, like, the whole thing that, the thing that makes me comfortable in saying they could offer it is for the reasons that you say you don't think it would be a good idea. Because, except for the Project Spark, I'm not familiar with Project Spark. So, I'm like, let's just get that out of the way. But the thing that makes the difference is that you could create all this stuff. And people have created some of this stuff. But in the off chance that you could have an actual version, I don't see a problem with that. Like, what's the problem with having someone be able to come into the game, say, I want a puppet that has these animations and facial animations at the highest quality, and being able to get it and then learn how to make that work, as opposed to having to learn how to make it from scratch. Like, I don't see how having more player options makes the game worse for players.
There's also one big issue I don't think you've thought about yet. It would give people a lot of options, or at least the creators, yes. But you have to think, if one person has the DLC and they make an element out of it, the other people who don't have the DLC won't be able to use that element, just like
Very
Little Planet.
true. Very
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, they won't be able to use that element, but we also know why. And
Yeah.
as y'all said, somebody else can make it. That's, I mean,
Yeah,
I'm really not trying to be a dick about this, but it's just, like, all we've talked about is how, I mean, people in chat have even said, like, I make everything that I use. I know how to do everything. That's amazing. I always do nothing but shower praise on everybody that has the grasp on dreams to literally do everything they want. But and I do get the dangers y'all are talking about, but I don't see the danger in an asset being there for people like that people could buy to basically hurry their process along. I don't, because as I told you before, I take this completely from user or customer options. People being able to get into dreams and have a character or a base model that has the full loaded kit from MM, or whoever's working with MM to do it, or us once we do the project. I don't see a problem with someone being like, hey, I got this game because it'll probably be free, as everybody's been talking about. But it's just, I don't get it. Like, if they made something out of that asset, but that meant that asset, because of it, couldn't be remixed, I don't see a problem with that. Because you can always, as y'all have already said, there's puppets in the Dreamiverse that have a lot of stuff attached to them already.
I don't think you'd be able to be remixed. I don't think you'd be able to use it at all, like place it at all, if you don't have the DLC. There's also another issue. There's also another issue. That issue is that if anyone can just create their own puppet or whatever, and buying it is optional, then, and you have all the tools to make it yourself, well, then that's going to bring up the idea that there's going to be people out there who are going to take that DLC element and try to recreate it without the DLC, or at least the element itself, and they're going to release it, and then at that point, there's no point in buying the DLC because you can just get it for free because someone just remade it entirely.
And if someone took the time to do that, then hey. But if you were a new person that jumped into the game and that was offered, look, guys, let me put this for you, because I feel like people aren't getting where I'm coming from here. I don't think this idea will ever happen. This is like I don't think this will ever happen.
Oh
This was all based on the premise of what could MM do to make extra money.
Yeah.
And this was an idea brought up within that. That's all I'm saying. Like, I get what y'all are saying, but when it really comes down to it, it just doesn't matter. Like, I don't think it would be a bad idea, but obviously some of you do think it would be a bad idea. You know what I say to that? Cool. Like, I just don't. I'm just saying, in the hypothesis we were discussing, the hypothetical we were discussing, this is a way that they could make money. This is a think group on why it's good and why it's bad. Awesome. Y'all are just as valid. I'm just saying, I personally wouldn't mind it.
You mentioned earlier that MM could potentially start a fundraiser for themselves.
Yeah.
How ironic would it be if that fundraiser was a Kickstarter?
I mean, I would expect it to be. They're big enough to where Kickstarter makes sense for them.
It would make total sense for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although
so,
I could never see that actually happening though with them being under the Sony tree. It doesn't fit really well with everything.
Well, maybe
If
if
they were
Sony.
independent, if they were independent, it would make sense. But given the fact that they're under the Sony umbrella, I could never see like a Kickstarter thing really happening.
yeah.
I mean, literally anyone can start Kickstarter. So if you wanted to, you could actually technically create a Kickstarter for Media Molecule yourself and not be affiliated with them. Just like send them all the money that gets into the Kickstarter.
Yeah, that gets into a lot of legal stuff. You don't want to do
Yeah.
that.
No,
That's
yeah.
that is a legal minefield that you just explained out over the whole time.
Yeah, like the corpo jammies really start to fire up inside. Like, no, this is bad.
Yeah.
All right, so let me see here. Willow did bring up paying for different UI themes, which I think could be cool.
Yeah, I like that. Again, all the cosmetic stuff, I'm all for it.
Tomaton brought up a season pass instead of a DLC. And the season pass, now that's something that will make me completely rage. Completely rage. Because there is a difference between season pass and normal DLC. And the difference is, as far as I've experienced in gaming, it's the same as Adobe going from a one-time payment to subscription. They're not happy getting your $300 at once. They want to charge you $300 for 3 programs every year and have it cost your life. Like, so no, the season pass. I'm sorry, it triggers something in me. PS4 Pro is already available to play stuff in vanilla PS4 Cant, Chrome Colossus. Yeah. At least in VR, so there's already a split inherent in each jump in tech. Yes, that's true.
Yep.
That makes me wonder where you are in the broadcast, though. What if you stamped into the DLC character, copied it with your own creation by using DLC as a guide, and then deleted the DLC and then saved? Would it still?
Wait, what? Hold on.
Yeah, that's what he was
exactly
saying.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's
exactly
what he was saying. Would it still kind of be remixable? I say no. If they were to do this, I would think that if the paid for content touched your file
At all, yeah, it would.
then you would no longer be able to make it remixable. You would basically be using that to put into a project. You have access to it, others don't. But
yeah,
once again,
that makes sense.
Hypothetical. And then she made me laugh with the with the spite that binds us. Oh, Willow, you're killing me. Spite is what drives us. I'm on board with that. So yeah, I mean that's the thing. There's tons of things they can do not touching dreams to generate money, in my opinion.
I think MM could oh sorry, you wanna go or
No, please.
Go ahead.
I think MM could actually sell like their own game experiences and dreams. Like, like an Ancient Dangers 2 or whatever. And sell that for some sort of thing. Without any prize bubbles or anything. Literally just an experience.
Yep, I agree. I think if they're going to do anything, I would say that would be the wisest move forward.
But
because
you're the one that just said to pay
Yeah,
for
I
the
know
game.
I'm contradictory. I know I'm contradictory, but I've said this in the past. I think that if they are going to monetize in any way possible, MM Originals is the best fit. It doesn't mess with the creation engine. It doesn't mess with how create, play, and share works. This is premium content made by the developers as an additional thing if you want it. That for me works perfectly. It may be contradictory, but it is. That's it.
As long as there are no prize bubbles, it should be fine.
Absolutely. Yep, no prize bubble. Yep.
I'm all about that because we've actually done a whole episode on that. I would love to see more MM Originals, more games made by them, put into the community. That's why I said one way to generate that fan base explosion people always talk about is to basically get an IP that people want that someone's not using. Like Earthworm Jim. I'm going to keep saying it until someone from MM reaches out to me and says, stop it. That's what I'm going to keep saying, that they should go grab Earthworm Jim. Anyway, Willow Bob said, "What if you use the DLC character to test play your own stuff and then deleted it? You'd be stuck." Oh well.
Okay.
I mean, if everyone knows that's how it works, and you still like, nah, I'ma do it, and then you get stuck, it's like, well, I mean, but that's the thing. If you but if you stamp the DLC character in, and the DLC character, before you changed him into whatever form you wanted, is gonna be the model you use to play the actual game, which would be the only reason I would think you would be testing it anyway, then it wouldn't really be a problem, I don't think. I don't think. Also, sorry I have to leave the call, but I did want to add from the other topic. This is from Char. I think artists need to be told that if you don't get appreciated for your work, that doesn't mean you don't deserve appreciation. It's just rough out here for us creators. Exactly. It's just rough out here. Like, we are nobodies in a sea full of other nobodies that are also super talented, also have dreams, also put their hard time and work into doing art. You know, it's hard out here. That's all it is. Don't get salty about stuff like picks and Impies and all this. I know y'all are going to be like, well, you won an Impy. I didn't think I was going to win it. I did not think I was going to win an Impy. Nobody was more surprised than me. So when we got that for the podcast, like, that's still a surprise. But it also proves what I'm talking about. It proves every bit of what I said. You keep working at it. That's 8 years. 8 years worth of some sort of acknowledgement that I exist on the internet. I appreciate it.
I also think that the media molecule selling experiences, like little game packs or whatever, that could also apply to creators as well. So, like, if you are in connection with or that you have a good reputation with them, you could go through the beta program and sell your own projects on Dreams. Like, for example, a Noguchi's Bell movie, and that you could just buy on Dreams and then watch it, or something of that sort.
Yeah,
that's all hypothetical, by the way. I have nothing. I don't know.
Oh no. Yeah, like, we've discussed this before, and when you get into that, that's where it gets extremely complicated, because for one, everything has to be handmade. You wouldn't be able to use anything from the Dreamiverse otherwise, of how profit sharing works and splitting the percentages up. But also, if you have a big team like Noguchi's Bell, then you have to sit down with those people and say, okay, well, how do we split the revenue costs for every person in Cybersheep, and what's MM's cut, and doing that large scale, it just sounds like a nightmare, and I don't think it would be worth anybody's time, in my opinion. I think if they just stuck to the originals, everything self-contained and controlled within their own environment, not bringing external community members into it, just makes it a hell of a lot easier.
Well, then how about we adds like some sort of donation systems where you can donate
love
to,
the
like,
idea
your
of
favorite
that.
character.
I love the idea of that. Yeah, I like that idea. I think that's something that definitely would work.
I'd say Patreon exists. Like, I would rather put their time in other things that we've already discussed today.
But I mean, that could be done. Like, could just add the option for you to add your Patreon link to your Dream. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
Super simple.
I mean, some people haven't they, and gotten banned for it or something?
Yeah, but like, if it was officially done by MM, and my attorney did it fine.
Yeah.
Don't just put it in yourself. That goes against the T&Cs.
All they have to do is just integrate some sort of method to pay creators if you go through the beta program in the game. Because right now, I think it's too disconnected with, like, how Patreon and stuff works. If you want to pay a creator you like, I think you should be able to do it straight from inside the game.
Yeah, like Itch.io.
Yeah.
What was Chrome Colossus said Willow said, what if you could buy unique home space objects? I feel like that's the same thing as buying the asset.
Yeah.
People would be salty.
I think that'd be cosmetic, actually, because if you're not allowed to use it in any scenes, because you could just put it in your home space and have it just there. You can't put it in any scenes.
But don't we But don't we want multiplayer people to be able to come into our home spaces and hang
Yeah,
out?
yeah. You see,
You
then
can
that
still
ruins
do
it.
that.
Yeah, you can still do
join-
that, but at the same time, I don't see why you'd be able to buy a lamp for your home space and not a puppet. I'm just pulling it back out. I'm just pulling it back out, baby.
Well, I mean,
Come on. I'm gonna take the jabs and the body shots as soon as they open up. But
It's a
look,
very fair point.
no,
It's a very fair point.
but I'm all overall. I'm just having fun. Chrome Colossus, I found it. I think the thumbs up is inherently flawed as a serious rating system. Agreed. We need 1 to 5 stars at least, maybe even a few game aspects that you rate: length, art, design, overall fun, etc. Yeah, I
That's cool.
also
I like that.
I also believe that is the case, but I also believe that there are benefits to both. Because a thumbs up in Dreams with the player size we have means a lot. It inherently doesn't mean anything, but it does mean a lot within what the community in which we exist, within the Dreamiverse. But on the other hand, I do believe that yes, there should be 1 to 5 stars. You can rate something, add it to a comment like you were on IMDb. I think that would only help.
I mean, the whole length, art design, overall fun. I mean, to me, that sounds like that falls more in the line of the review section of what we currently have. Like, because you can make a comment or you can make a review. So I would say the whole length, art design, overall fun. You can already do that. Just put that in a review.
Yeah.
But I do like the idea of a 1 to 5 star rating. I think that would work very well in Dreams. I like that.
What are your guys' thoughts on the hackers in Dreams? And what I mean by that are the insane people who have gone to like 999 million level in the game and stuff like that.
Couldn't care less, to be honest. Wow, okay, you've hacked it to make it look like you're that level when you're actually not. Cool. Move on.
I just think that could mess with the player perception a little bit because people are looking into those lists. The
Not
lists
really,
are
I
like
mean-
highest level.
Yeah, but when the highest level is 9,900,000,000,900,000,000, like, common sense would tell you that that's not real. Like,
Oh,
if
I
anybody
looked at the-
actually believes that, like, someone with a dreams level of 9,999,999,999 actually is earned, then you need a reality check, in my opinion.
If you look at their comment sections on those profiles, there are actually a staggering amount of people who believe that they did it legit.
Wow. Okay, that speaks volumes. Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and close up the show for today. So, look. Let me unzip the shirt just a little bit more. There we go.
Oh no.
All right. So, do we have any people here that play Valheim?
No.
Any Valheim players? No. I'm gonna give it a chance for somebody to answer in the chat though, because if we have any Valheim players, yeah, I would like to know because I have somebody who's looking for some Valheim people to run with. I know this is random. Joe, Danny, and Pierogi played it a lot. Joe Ryan and Danny Kaka. I might have to get Pierogi then. Okay, cool.
Can I
So
turn
Joe
my-
Ryan, Danny,
can-
and Pierogi. Huh?
Can I turn my webcam on really quickly? There's something I want to show you.
Sure.
Look at my shirt.
Hey.
Hey, bangerang.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I had that
Representing.
made. Yeah, I had that made. I didn't buy it for Anywhere or anything. It was actually based on the developer shirts that they have.
Cool.
But I'm not selling it or anything, of course, because of legal issues. But I really wanted one and it looked cool, so I made one.
Nice.
Very nice. Awesome. Okay, so I got to remember this. Joe, Danny, and Pierogi.
Don't worry, I've copied it for you.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So alerting dreams officers. So thank you to everybody who commented on the poll I put up earlier this week. I want to say this because I also want to say I'm sorry I let you all down. The poll was for a friend of mine who is how do I put this? A friend of mine asked me to buy Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 so that I could play the beta with him and the game when it comes out. Now, we all know how I feel about first-person shooters and Call of Duty. And I put up the poll saying, my friend really wants me to play with him. Should I do it? Or no, friends come and go. And people told me to tell my friend no. I decided not to tell him no.
I think you made the right choice.
So I feel like, because originally this is the way I was thinking of it. I hate this thing. So it becomes a question of, do my morals and values outweigh, or is it a situation of morals and values, or is it a situation of selfishness to not be there for a friend?
I think it's selfishness, because you might turn out to actually enjoy the experience because you're playing it with your friend. Like, having the experience with your friend and enjoying it is different than playing it on your own and hating it because of what it is. Like, it can be a bad game, but if you're having fun because you're doing it with your friend, then it's a completely different experience.
It is the first game, because of the lack of co-op and everything, that I've been able to play with my friend, which is what led us to a lot of this. Because he originally switched to PlayStation to play games with me.
Oh, well, then kind of obliged.
But yeah, I know, but that's not normally enough for me, because I really hate Activision.
Yeah, I don't like Call of Duty.
Ubisoft. All that. There are AAA publishers on my list, my blacklist, that I just don't mess with. But because of that, me, him, and another friend who we all used to play games together, we've been running the beta. I'm gonna tell you, I've never felt so old in my life than me trying to get back into playing first-person shooters. Now, I'm not here to toot my own horn, okay? But I used to be good, okay? I used to be good. I used to be that level where it was like, maybe you should think about going MLG. Not Call of Duty MLG, like Halo MLG. Like level 50 when they had the ranking system. Like, I was up there with the big boys, okay? Call of Duty, always positive. Always running like at least a 4.7 KDA. I am running probably a combined KDA of probably like 0.63. It is horrid out here. I've never been shot in my butt so many times in a video game. I just don't even know what to do anymore. Like, it's literally to the point where I'm using that like old school, I'm 4 years old complaint, where it's like, they gotta be cheating. Like, because I'll be sitting there, like, I'm gonna tell you, there are certain things about the game I just don't understand. Like, there are certain things that don't make sense to me anymore. But the experience of playing with my friends has been great. It's brought back good old times. But, man, I am just... I always joked that, like, I don't have the dreams in my fingers anymore. Like, I'm not young enough to have those dreams that inspire my dexterity and aim. Yeah, I truly believe it now. Part of it was just humble. Now I believe it. Because, man, people are so fast. Like it's so fast that
crazy.
I believe it when people are like they're cheating. I actually do think they're cheating because it did like. Look, there was this guy. I know we veered, but this is the end of the show where we can talk about anything we want. Okay, so yeah, having a good time with my buddy Chrome Colossus, but there are things that I just don't seem to get because like the TTK or time to kill in this game is supposedly a lot faster than any other Call of Duty because of the headshot multiplier. Like a headshot does like stupid damage. Unless I'm the one shooting them in the head. Like, a dude will run around the corner. I'll know he's coming. I'll have the gun up. And I'll shoot. And you know when you shoot in Call of Duty, you get like the hit impact indicators.
Yeah.
I will hit him in his like chest, neck, head for a combined like 4 shots. He won't die. He'll go flip, boof, and I'm dead. No shotgun, no close range, just one shot from whatever god gun shooting sex bullets is. I don't know what the hell is going on, but he is effing me up. And it took him 1 shot in what took me 5 to not even get the kill. In the face. It's insane. I'm losing my mind here because I'm like, I know I've been away for a decade. It's been about a decade since I last played a Call of Duty. But man, they got me out here looking horrible.
I mean, these people have had like 10 years of training against you. Like, you know, these people are vets. They play this game constantly, like every single Call of Duty without fail.
What's the thing that makes you? This is a topic I can find. I just went on a rant, but I had to get it off my chest. I had to get it off my chest.
Territory now.
Yeah, but I had to get it off my chest. What is the thing that, like, name a game and a technique or mechanic in that game that ruins the game for you? I got a few, but I wanted, if you play any game like Call of Duty, PvP.
I don't really play much PvP games to, like, you know, to know that, really.
Okay. Well, weapon durability? Yeah, weapon durability is something that's, yeah. No, it just ruins everything. It's like, I got this for a reason. Stop trying to take it away from me. For me, there's one, like Gears of War. Gears of War at its base is a game that I would say I can enjoy it. But things that people call getting good at playing Gears of War make the game look stupid to me. Like when someone does when they're just bouncing back and forth, like latching onto walls, or doing things where they're like diving, redirecting in the middle of the air to attach to a wall to then break off of the wall and shoot you in the face, or just going down a hallway like a ping pong ball. That. They're like, yeah, it makes it harder for someone to shoot you. But can we, and it's a skill that you developed. Let's not get it wrong. But should you have been able to develop that skill? Should you have figured out that you could just ping pong off of 2 walls so fast that no one can shoot you? And why haven't they patched it in 3 games of Gears of War?
Yeah, that's the main thing. Like, if you found an exploit, that's one thing, but the fact that it hasn't been patched is another.
Didn't Gears have some sort of crab walk thing? Yeah. That's the thing. All of it is kind of based around the cover system. And the cover system, like, people have just gotten to the point where they just abuse it to the point where you shouldn't be able to do these things. Like, you just shouldn't be able to. But because the developers didn't know you could do it. Now, that's not the same as when we're talking about something like Dreams, where it's an open-ended book that They just gave us the book and said continue writing. But things like that are like competitive, that cheapens it to me. That's why I love the old days of like Halo 2 and 3. It was you, a BR, and a pistol. Who won? That was it. That was it. Who won? Who could set up strategically? Who could land the shots when they needed to? There was none of this stuff. Now, I know I'm sounding real old right now. I know. I'm talking about back in the day. But I'm just saying, with Call of Duty, they tried to take away the, there was a slide. What was it called? A slide cancel. They tried to take it away in this version of the game, and people just figured out how to do it again. And so before the beta even ended, and they were like, yeah, we're looking at a way to deal with that. Like, VR has been so niche that you'll get in on the ground floor, broadly speaking. What, Chrome Colossus? I wonder where you are in our broadcast. But yeah, my time with Call of Duty has just brought up these things where it's like, I hate games where you can't jump, but you have legs. But then when you run into a bunch of people who have perfected basically running and jumping through a doorway or a corner and killing you before you even have a chance to register they exist. You know, that's some crazy stuff. But anyway. Is there any topic you wanted? I just needed to go. Is there a PS5 Series X version of COD this time? Yes. The crossplay opened up this weekend for this weekend's beta. And I think the full game is going to be PC, PS5, and Xbox. But you can choose to cut out the other people. Oh, Warzone? Oh, I don't care about Warzone. So
yeah, Warzone 2 isn't out yet, I think.
Sinnock, you obviously didn't buy the right skins. It's true. You can't beat the skin power up. You can't do it. You can't beat it. But yeah, do you have any other topics for this week, Jamie, or are we closing up?
No, I think we're ready to close up.
See, I'm not really that interested in, or not interested. I can keep going because now that I don't have to worry about uploading it to YouTube, that frees up like a clear 7 hours after this ends. But the episode has been long enough.
Yeah.
We're going to go ahead and shut it down. Once again, we thank everybody for coming through, chilling with us. I hope you enjoyed the conversation, the all-out, all-around shenanigans that have been today. I also hope that you...
episode. Great communication as well from the chat, as always.
Okay. Let's see. Chrome Colossus says, my comment was tied to several comments I made slightly above it. COD is old-time gaming. Firewall on PSVR2 will be what you loved about early shooters. If I had a reason to get the PSVR2 anymore. Sour grapes. No, I'm just... Let me stop. Ooh, what if there was a game where you have no legs and have to move forward with a stick? Lol.
Get over it.
Yeah, get over it. That is the game.
Yeah.
That is it right there.
Yeah, Get Over It, which is one of the greatest games ever made. I love it.
Oh, it's so funny. Such a funny game.
So great. Seeing someone speedrun it makes you angry, though.
Oh my god, right?
Yeah, that's just... I mean, I enjoy the game, but that is, like, dumb. Someone beat the game in, what was it, like 30 seconds or something? It was some stupid... Yeah. I can't remember, but it's, like, the fastest playthrough, and it's literally this dude just going up, and it just under 2 minutes.
Crazy.
There you go, Jet Yeti. Yeah, under 2 minutes.
Wow.
Just flying.
I'm gonna have
it's
to
the
watch
craziest thing. It's not long. Yeah, at least there's that.
It's TikTok movie.
But I do want to plug yet again the YouTube. If you're already on my YouTube watching this, check it out. But I went ahead and released 2 videos recently. One was the gaming console you deserve. The second one is talking about my 29 years of trauma when it comes to Quantum Leap. And feel free to watch them. Leave a thumbs up, like, comment if you want, and do the same with this video. So, if we're out, we're out. What?
Great videos, by the way. You guys should check it out.
Oh, thank you. Well, with that, everybody, it's time. You've stared at my chest long enough. It's time to end the
Are
day.
we getting
So,
the nipples?
no, did that get you canceled on
Okay,
Twitch?
good.
That gets you canceled on Twitch. What? You don't want these pixelated man titties? What's wrong?
Oh,
Anyway,
maybe I do.
see, maybe he does. You don't know until you see,
Who knows?
until you stare them directly in the eye. Nope. Only then can you truly know. But anyway, before this gets even weirder, we're out,
let's let it
ladies and
pull it out.
gentlemen.
Bye.
Bye.
So-